This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, a warm welcome back to the channel. You join me en route to Carrots Rear Body Shop, where we've got another big day lined up. We've got the engine swap happening. That means the Stradale engine is coming out and it's going into the Spider. We're going to finally figure out if this thing will actually run. First job of the day is obviously we need to remove the Stradale engine. Well, here's a little secret. I already did it. We did it before we removed the Spider engine. And I can tell you it was a little bit more complex because of the coupe. We didn't gain the extra space from removing the roof mech as we did on the Spider. Here's how it went. Now the keen eye among you will spot that I'd already, or I hadn't removed the Spider roof. Have a look in the background, see what clues you can find. Drop them in the comments below. Okay, let's get that last little bit out. It's taken me all day, but it is a big sense of achievement, this one. Here we go. Be ultra careful here. I want this here, the body works. Donnie's going to pull it out and I'm just going to stabilise it. Thanks, Donnie. Perfect. Job done. Now I love these Ferrari projects, but wow, do they take up some space. And let's not forget, they cost a lot of money to build. Just have a look at some of this stuff. Just over here on the Ratarossa storage car, we have a load of parts from the current 360 build. Now don't forget, as part of this project, I'm going to be buying back the silver 360 Challenge Stradale donor car. And well, we're going to be putting some original bits back that we've been acquiring over time, including things like these, the titanium wheel nuts that I've just purchased. So all of the stuff that's coming off will be surplus to requirements. So what do we do with that? Well, like I say, these projects are extremely expensive, so why not offset some of the cost? Now I could go down the traditional route and get ripped off with some extortionate seller's fees on some well-known platforms, but this is all about saving money to reinvest in projects, so why not take a different route on this one? With Squarespace, I could simply set up an online store with just a few clicks and sell directly. And Squarespace has everything covered with these easy to use templates and all the tools an online store would need, from marketing to analytics, all at your fingertips, simple to set up and easy to use. So once the latest project is finished, all of this stuff is going to go for sale on my online store. So watch this space, because hopefully it's going to be empty pretty soon and I'm going to have a bit of cash back in my pocket. And I've got to say a massive thanks to Squarespace for making that happen and sponsoring today's video. Don't forget guys, you can click on my link in the description below the video and you will save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Next job on the project is, well, we have both engines out of the car successfully. That all went very well. And you think, well, it's just simple, we will put the Stradale engine straight into the Spider. Unfortunately, like most jobs on this project, it's not that easy. What we need to do first, if we look at both engines, they are configured slightly differently. Now, first of all, let's take the Spider for example. At the back here, we've got all the pipework in this top air manifold system, and if you look at the Stradale, it's completely different. Bits at the back here, different here, but the major difference is going to be on wiring. So if we look at our wiring connectors on the right side, on the left side, they are all configured really different between both cars. So we are actually going to change those over. Now the base engine is exactly the same, the manifold is the same, it's just the way everything is plumbed into them because of the Spider roof. Because of that flat roof panel compared to the coupe, there's not as much space by the firewall, so we're going to have to change all of the wiring over, some of the plumbing in the manifold, and there's one other job that while we're in here we're going to be changing. So in order to make my life easy, we're going to remove the complete manifold, the air manifold from the top here, just to get to all of this wiring, because it all comes in through here, connects down here, various connections at the front. And so while we're in there, while we've got this out, it's a good opportunity to change something on 360s that is a ticking time bomb, and that is the heat exchanger down here. Now these things have a very bad habit of just randomly exploding. When they explode, they cause major problems, to the point where, worst case scenario, you're going to need your gearbox stripped apart and rebuilt. So we are going to take no risks on this build. Like I say, while we have the manifold off the car, we're going to take that opportunity. We've got loads of access in there. Not only does it allow me to clean up the top of the block there, get to all of that, make it look very pretty, but we're going to change the heat exchanger. So I've just checked, we've got them in stock at Ferrari, so we're going to head on out there, pick up some parts and start to work. That is our problematic heat exchanger. No idea if it's any good or not, how long it's going to last, but like I said, we are being very cautious on this, and for the sake of all the hassle of getting down to that, we're going to put a new one in. The new heat exchanger is now in place, had a clean up, we've got new gaskets, and now I'm going to very quickly get the manifold back in and start to reconfigure all of the wiring. As you can see, the engine is all back together, giving it a good old clean up. Look at this, how it's come up. unbelievable. It's like new. A few more little bits to do on here, but it's basically ready to go back in the car. However, we are just doing a few extra bonus jobs. Started to really clean up all the engine bay here, and you can see just these heat shield panels here have perished, so I've taken off one of these. I'm going to take the other one off, just repaint them with some high temp silver paint. We're going to be changing the engine mounts. One of them's not looking great at the moment, the other one we'll just change them as a pair, and then I'll finish off where the factory, you can see here, hasn't actually painted. There was a load of patches. I've actually just started doing all of this rear kind of subframe, and started to look really nice here. We're going to just do that, and there's one other thing that we need to do on this car. I don't know if you can see this, but let's try it maybe from the other side. Our engine mount here, as you can see, that's also gone. It should be central. Obviously it's pulled up the top, got no rubber there, so we've just been to Ferrari again. We got some new engine mounts and a new gearbox mount. We'll stick those in before this goes into the car, which will save a heck of a load of problems later on down the line. Anyway, I'm going to finish off this, just spray those, and then engine is ready to go back in. Much easier to do all this with the engine out of the car. Same with the engine mounts as well. Little update here. As you can see, the engine heat shields are back in. Super happy how they come out. They're obviously not brand new, but they're a lot better than they were before. This is something on 360s that quite often suffers. They tend to flake off, obviously the heat cycles from the engine, and yeah, looking good. The frame, we have just touched in some of the little bits there, so again, looking really good. This is now ready. We've removed the engine mounts. I'm actually going to leave these off because it's going to assist me getting the engine back in. Just a tiny little bit of extra height from the from those engine mounts just really does help me with that movement down of getting the engine. Remember, it's going to have to come in at a certain angle like that. Now, I'm not exactly sure why the Spider has this crash box on the back, and none of the coupe cars, so the Stradale or the Modena, they lack this. But I'm going to take no risks. I'm going to put it on just in case there is a purpose. Have you got any ideas why the Spiders have this? Write them in the comments below, because I can't quite work it out myself. If you look at the back of the cars, let me show you this. Look at the back of the cars down here. All of this is exactly the same as the back of this one down there. So, beats me. Let's put it on just to be safe. So we've managed to successfully shoehorn the Stradale engine into the Spider. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Just a little case of perseverance again, and just patience really, just getting the right angle to get it back in there. But it went in as a complete unit, as you saw. So the next job is, well, we've got to sort out the rat's nest of wiring that's everywhere here. I've started to plumb it in down the sides here. And one little word of advice: if you are going to label up all of your connectors before doing something like this, don't use a Sharpie and start cleaning the car, because I can't read half of the things on here. Anyway, I'm going to just go around, connect up the obvious ones, and then we'll figure out the rest. Just under here, attaching the last pipes. So we've got the AC pipe, and then we're just doing this harness. Same over here. It's all done, clips there. Just got to attach the main cable there to the frame, and then we're good. So I just popped over to Ferrari to pick up this Union. We had to get that shipped over from Italy because the other one's split. And it's probably the most expensive charged Union in the world. That's how much Ferrari charged me for it, or tried to. £95,623, 1p. Obviously it was a bit of a mistake, and my card was not authorised. Thank God. Anyway, there you go. It's time to fit it to the car. Okay, time for an update. We are almost ready to fire this baby up, and there's a few little things to point out before we do that. So you might notice there's a few differences here. We've got these air boxes, normally on the Stradale engine, they are carbon, and there's also a little few differences over here. The reason we've had to put these on is we are still running the standard Spider engine ECUs. Now the ECUs contain all the data for the immobilizer. If we switch those over with the Stradale, they're not going to work. The engine just won't fire up. So we've had to retain these for now until we get those remapped. But this is test purposes today, and we want to just make sure and verify everything is working before the car goes to the spray booth for a new lick of paint. But in order for that to work, we need to have the smaller MAFs from the Spider and the air boxes, which we've now got in place. Otherwise, it's all the mapping is going to be completely off. So everything else is still Stradale. Just those 1, 2, 3 are from the original car. So we're going to try and fire this up now and see what happens. Not quite gone to plan there. The last job was to replace all the fluids that we've drained from the car, and unfortunately I've just gone to get those, and the engine oil is not in stock. It's coming tomorrow morning, which means we've got a start up, or fingers crossed, a start up video coming next. But the project is definitely progressing very nicely. I cannot wait to finish this part of the build, get the car into paint, and start putting it back together. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You can also check out what I get up to on a daily basis over on my Instagram. Till the next time, guys, stay safe and ciao for now.